Dandelions.
5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go. This is the moment of truth. Is the recipe that went viral on Instagram gonna be tasty or not? Today, we're doing something completely new. We're digging for dandelion roots because we want to try our first dandelion root fry recipe. We saw a video online about people making dandelion french fries out of the root. Thought it looked really cool. So now we're gonna put that recipe to the test and see if it is as good as it looks in the video and on the pictures. We're in the mountains here because down below in the valley, the dandelions are fully bloomed out. Even up here, as you just saw, some of them are already done blooming and going to seed, but we still have a good amount around us here. So I think we're gonna have a good day picking dandelion roots. What do you think, Lindy?
I think we're going to be digging.
Yeah, we are going to be digging because it has not rained in a while and the soil looks very dry. It's definitely preferred to dig roots after a nice rainstorm.
But it's going to be a while for that to happen here.
Probably.
So that's okay.
So let's get looking, see how many we can find. We don't have to go far. There's a ton around us, but hopefully we find some prime, tasty roots.
Good specimens.
Yeah, and it is our first time really digging roots. We did it once before.
Dandelion roots.
Dandelion roots, yeah. We did it once before. So we're not 100% sure if it's best to dig the roots from the plants that haven't flowered. Probably, like with so many other roots, that is the case. But, you know, we're just going to look for the ones that have flowered now and go with those. Because that's the easiest for people to get started with.
Yeah.
For you watching right now to get started with. So let's do it. Lindy's gonna take a stab at the first dandelion here.
My legs are so sore.
We're digging in the shade in hopes of the soil being a bit more softer and malleable here, not so dried out and rock hard like we have been seeing on the trail so far. Nice.
It's small.
Small, but looking good. Here we got a whole field of dandelions. Nice part about these dandelions is that they have that milky sap, kind of like the salsify. So that's definitely something you want to be looking for when you're digging them. So it'll come out of the roots too. Just for an ID factor. Kind of like digging dandelions and thicker stuff like
These are
this.
so easy.
Yeah. We don't need a lot
If this
though,
ends up being tasty, I'm going to be pretty darn excited.
right? So the dandelions we were just picking here all kind of only have one flower on them. Ideally, I think you'd want one that has like a bunch of flowers coming out of the crown, like out of the central part. There's a few more up here, but I think they're all kind of like the ones we just saw. So, you know, you can probably speed up your process by just finding those big ones. I'm guessing those will have a ton of roots on them, or big roots, I should say. Let's see if this one is any bigger. Ooh, it's rocky here. Got some good ones, Lindy?
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, this one's got some nice looking roots on them. All still super soft. I think they will make some really nice fries. Lindy's on it again, making a dandelion braid. This time, if you haven't checked out our salsify root digging video, look at that one to learn how to make a braid. A salsify braid, or just a braid with really
That's really rocky.
any of the wild plants that allow you to do it. No, I never noticed that there are this many dandelions even in the mountains. Dandelion is such a cool flower, but for whatever reason I haven't focused on them as much during my foraging years now. Mostly because the plant can be pretty bitter, and the roots can be as well. So there's a few things you can do to make the roots less bitter, or one big thing I should say, and we'll talk about that later in the video. There's a bunch of them right here. They all look a bit smaller, but I think the crowns are a bit bigger.
Oh boy.
What?
There's so many.
I know, right? I found a pretty nice big one here. Let's see if this one has a big root on it. Like butter, the soil here. When you have a big cluster like this, you can really hold on to it and kind of move it around while you're prying out the root. Let's see. I'm really hoping this one will be a big one. Oh yeah, that's the big one I found for sure so far today. Or the biggest one. Feeling pretty soft. Nice. There's a second one in here. Little worm. That one can go back into the dirt. This one's kind of interesting. It's just a bunch of little finger roots. A bunch of split roots. That's pretty cool. But I think I might just put those back in. I'm looking for little fatter ones, little French fries. Like this looks pretty prime to me. Now one cool thing with dandelions is that you really don't have to worry about sustainability, at least as far as I know of. It's probably the most abundant wild edible flower I see, or one of them for sure. I mean, they're everywhere, from the river bottoms in the valley all the way up here in the mountain. And all the way from Germany to Wisconsin to Montana, all the places I've lived in, there have been tons of dandelions. Maybe it's got to do something with how they spread their seeds, since they do create that pappus, that round head of poofy seeds that just travels really far with the wind. I think they just have an advantage there over other plants that just drop seeds around or have to wait for squirrels to move them around like trees, you know. Is that a bear or a waffles I'm hearing in the bush?
I hope it waffles.
Me too.
It's twisted.
Dandelion yellow.
It's so mellow.
Oh, you're spitting rhymes.
Feeling so sublimes.
All right, Lindy, give us that dandelion wrap. Come on.
Once upon a time, there was a dandelion.
Oh.
He came to me, but man, he was lying.
I thought you were going to say he was crying.
He was crying.
About?
Because we pulled up his roots. And they made us toots.
Yes. You just dissed that dandelion so hard. What you got there?
I've got dandelions.
That is probably a world record dandelion braid.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has
Honestly,
ever...
let's start that. I want to challenge people to braid roots.
So you're proposing a challenge?
Yeah. I'm 6 feet tall. You can't beat me.
So if you're watching right now, what Lindy's trying to say here is that if you can make a larger, longer dandelion root braid than her, tag us and we'll see if it stacks up to her 6 foot braid.
Yeah.
But you're only 5'11". Let's not lie here.
But it's slightly taller than me.
Yeah, that one is tall. Let's see compared to me. I'm going to get up there. All right, here's Lindy's beautiful braid next to me. I think it is 6 foot. So this is the benchmark. If you think you can make a longer rooty braid out of any rooted plant or vegetable, this is what you got to beat. 6 feet. So I think we have enough dandelion roots. We got Lindy's 6 foot braid, and I got a few Ziploc bags full. I think we got enough to try our recipe. So we're gonna look around for some other things we can find, maybe some spruce tips. That'll be another video if we find them. And then we're gonna go home and try to make these dandelion French fries and see how it goes. Okay, we are back in the kitchen now. It's a day later. We didn't have time to finish the root prep and the cooking and all that yesterday. We were kind of just doing a chill day, honestly. So now what we're gonna do is clean our dandelion roots. I already took the liberty of cutting them off the flower, not the flower parts, the green parts, you know, so that we just have the root. We still have to clean it though. But what we're gonna do is make roasted dandelion root fries. And I have this recipe here from herbalrev.com. I'll blend it in a bit better so you guys can see it. But we saw this awesome video of them making it on Instagram. We're like, man, we gotta try this ourselves because dandelions are so abundant, and who doesn't like fries, right? Like
I love
some
fries.
low carb fries. So
Pretty big fan.
yeah. So we're gonna see if this recipe works out. You know, after cutting all the green parts off the plants, we really weren't left with that many roots. I mean, this right here is basically all we got, and a few more here. That's it right now.
But it's enough for one meal.
So
for two
we'll
people.
see next time. You know, I think we should have kept picking, honestly, just because out of these now, I don't even know how many are rotten and are going to be good. So
None.
We'll see with how many we're left with. Hopefully not none.
None.
That would be shame for this video.
No, I mean none will be rotten.
Oh, none will be rotten.
If
Yeah.
all of them are rotten, that's pretty unfortunate.
Right. So we'll see how it goes. And I have a little twist to the recipe I'm going to do. This is all going to be done on a baking sheet. And on half of the roots, we're going to add some honey.
Whoa.
Because dandelion roots can be pretty bitter, unfortunately. The whole plant can be pretty bitter. If you've ever tried a dandelion leaf, you'll know it's not the tastiest, in my opinion. My humble opinion, other foragers are probably gonna
Unless
fight
well
me over
prepared.
this. Yeah.
Well prepared things usually taste good.
Well, it
Unless
is good.
they're really bad.
It is good, like so many chefs do. You got to play with flavors in the kitchen, which is why we're going to be adding honey to half of them. Just drizzle some honey on top toward the end of the baking process. I think that honey will really balance that bitterness out of it. And I think, I have a suspicion, that adding honey will make this recipe even better than it already is. So here are our roots. Ones like this are going to be really easy to clean, and we still got to clean them now. Then some are like this, where they have this like papery stuff on them. That's something I would just pull off now before I go and wash these. So more of the tan parts are exposed, you know. Then some of them, like this one, I left on because you can tell it's kind of rotten and gross. Like we're not gonna eat that. Okay, I want to just clean these up then, and then we're gonna go to the next step. So it's been a bit tough getting all the dried dirt off. So having a little sponge like this or a nail brush would be really helpful here. Just a quick aside while you clean these. Definitely something to consider. This makes your job a lot easier. Waiting for Lenny to set up the camera here.
Okay.
We good? We got our cleaned roots. Some of them are still a little bit dirty, but you know, little dirt never hurt nobody. Worst thing you're gonna get is like some liquid poops, and that's not the worst thing in the world, right? Right? Just kidding. You're gonna be fine if you leave them a bit dirty. But if you're worried, you know, keep scrubbing them. We are not. So some of these bigger ones I am gonna cut into some smaller slices, but the thinner ones I don't think we're gonna need to bother. All right, let's use my knife skills here to not cut my fingers off. Ooh, that was satisfying. Looking good. This one we'll probably cut in half too. Man, it's kind of tough. I need to grab a smaller knife. Sorry, y'all. We gotta get more into the fine details here. Let's get one of these butcher knives out. That should work a bit better. There we go. A little bit of a rotten chunk. I guess we'll cut that out. Okay, now let's toss these bad boys in the spices. I got my salt here, cayenne pepper, paprika, cumin, and pepper. Now, if I pull up the recipe, it does not tell me how much to use of each. So unfortunately, this is just going to be more of some guesswork here. But that's okay. We don't have a ton of roots left, so I'm going to go a little lighter so you can always season afterwards. All right. So actually, I'm going to start with the olive oil, I think, here. Let me get some good olive oil. Usually I'm more of a fan of using avocado oil, but we're going to try to follow the recipe as best we can. Tablespoon of olive oil in there. They call for a tablespoon. All right, toss that a bit. Now, I'm gonna just, use a little bit of pepper. Not a bunch. The paprika. They say smoked paprika, which I did not have. I think that will give this recipe some bonus points for sure. Cayenne pepper. Gonna go lighter on this. We're not super spicy eaters. Lindy is laughing behind the camera because she does not think that was a little bit of cayenne. Cumin. And now, the last salt. Did I put salt? I don't think I put salt yet. We do go heavy into salt. We're going to add some more afterwards, like you do with fries, I think. Now the last thing that I forgot to get, nutritional yeast. We got this organic one from Micro Ingredients, not a sponsor, from Amazon. Not sure if you guys can see that, but this is some really tasty stuff. I'm going to sprinkle a good bit on here of this, because that has some nice umami flavor. Okay, now let's toss this some more. I feel like a freaking chef when I'm doing this. Just like, let's see how high we can get it. Oh shit, maybe not. Is it really cooking if it doesn't get messy? I don't think so. Okay, let me get my baking sheet. Decided to add some more oil. This is looking a little dry for me here. So we're just gonna add some more. If you're afraid of oil, you don't have to do this. But I'm not. Ready to put it on the baking sheet. We are just gonna slowly put our fries on here. Aesthetic. I can be aesthetic if I try. Doesn't this look beautiful? Okay, let's spread them out a bit. Because veggies roast better when they're not clumped up. The right side will be our control. Just a recipe without honey. Left side with honey. Our experiment.
Did you want to put it on now or after it bakes for a while?
That's a good question. I'll probably put it on once it bakes for a while, just so it doesn't burn. All right, now we're gonna put this in our oven. The oven is at 350 degrees. I just gotta check how long. Let's see what the recipe says. They say, so 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 100 degrees Celsius for our German friends out there that might be wanting to make Löwenzahnwurzel Pommes. That's dandelion root fries in German. 10 minutes they're gonna roast, or until cooked to your liking. I like mine nice and crunchy. They say borderline burnt here. Me too. But definitely watch them. They had a lot thicker ones, thicker roots, so some of these thin ones are probably gonna go pretty quick. Well, let's put the timer for, let's say 8 minutes, and then we'll check it again. Come over here. Lindy's actually making a giant pot of elk curry here, which is going to be our meal prep for the week. So just want you to see that quick. We love meal prepping big stews.
It's just about 6 pounds of meat in that bad boy
That's
right
right.
now.
Our roots are going in.
And Poldy had said that we were going to do it for 8 minutes, but we're thinking 5 minutes, and then we'll check them, put the honey on, and let them go for another, 5 or so.
Yeah, let's do it. Ooh, you know when you get hit by that wave of just hot air out of the oven? It's my favorite. It's like I'm going into the sauna that's like 350 degrees, and it's just like, I know those heat shock proteins are just running through my body, Okay, cut.
Our timer has gone off for the halfway mark. So we're going to pull them out. They are starting to look nice. And then we're putting the honey on. I'm putting it on this right side here, which you guys are going to have to help me remember, because I won't. Just do a little doodly-doodly-doop, doodly-doodly-doop. I'm going to try to coat every single little one, but it's not actually working very well with this.
Just on the right side, right?
Yeah. If it was up to me, it would be every single one, period.
Well, we're trying to do an experiment here.
Oh, I mean, just because I like sugar. They call me the carb queen. Okay, honey is on, and back in she goes.
Another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
How are they looking?
They're looking nice.
Okay.
We'll start for 5 minutes and see where it goes.
Heck yeah. Lindy just said it's almost ready.
10, 9, 8,
7,
6,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We were too fast. There we go.
There we go.
It's the
Let's
worst
hope
noise.
it's actually ready.
I don't know.
Come over here, show it to them.
What's it supposed to look like? That's the honey.
They're supposed to be nice and crunchy.
They're hot. I think they need to keep going.
Yes. We're not ready.
Awkward oven open. Wow. My bad.
Lindy was afraid.
I wasn't sure if we were ready.
Nice. Wait, back up a bit.
Whoa. Honey? No honey.
Okay. I think they look ready. 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's try them. Let's see how it tastes.
The top pad does not work very well.
Are we still recording? Yes. Here we go. This is the moment of truth. Is the recipe that went viral on Instagram gonna be tasty or not? And is the honey the secret ingredient to make these dandelion roots even better? We will find out.
Can we try them now?
We can try them now. You try first. In
Wait.
case it's poison.
Should I try honey or not honey?
I would say not honey first.
You know what you're like?
What?
You know Snow White
Snow White?
with
Yeah.
the poisonous witch bringing her the apple?
The poisonous dandelion root. Mm-hmm. Crunch factor's there.
Lots of cayenne pepper.
Oh yeah, I went pretty hard in the cayenne. Mm-hmm. But we forgot something. In my humble opinion, a little more salt.
Dragon's breath. My goodness.
Okay, I even made a note about not adding too much cayenne, but there's definitely like cayenne.
He gave me so much slack back for raising my eyebrows about the cayenne. It was
Beyond
way too
that.
much. Beyond that,
that,
they're great.
crunch factor really good. Mm-hmm. Actually, not that bitter. I thought they'd be more bitter.
Yeah, I think they're great.
Okay, Lindy's already grabbing the honey one.
I'm impatient.
I think better. It mellows out some of the spiciness too.
I think if it weren't for the spiciness, I'd like the one without the honey better, actually.
Really? Mm-hmm. Let's try some more, just to,
Oh, we're going to eat this whole thing.
just to make sure. I think the ones with honey didn't get as crisp.
Yeah.
I think overall, the feel, the crunch, the recipe is good. I could have useless cayenne pepper. The recipe creator wants some feedback. Add like how many tablespoons of what you want me to add. I mean, I usually like don't go to ham with the cayenne, but I guess I did there.
I don't know. I cook everything with no recipes, so.
I don't either usually, but in this case, if it's something that could
Yeah.
add a lot of heat. But overall, like texture-wise, I think these are great. And they're so abundant.
It's definitely not like 100% a French fry. Like,
No.
French fries are, this has more feel to it than a French fry. It's got a lot more firmness. But I kind of like that.
Yeah. And I think what these would really shine if you had like a dipping sauce, like a yogurt dipping sauce.
Yeah,
you know?
in the video they did. I also think that you could actually deep fry these somehow, like in tallow or something, especially with some sort of like a nutritional yeast breading on them,
Yep.
and that would be
Really good.
that would be so good.
I don't know what I would rate it.
I'd say like a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, I'll definitely make them again, for sure. We added a little bit too much spice, but like overall, especially if you're doing something that's low carb.
And the bitterness really isn't that bad, yeah.
Yeah, they were easy to harvest, easy to prepare or like process, and easy to cook. And it tastes good. So definitely a worthwhile try, I think.
As you can tell, it's easy to eat the whole thing.
You don't have to feel bad about it because it's a dandelion root and you burn just as many calories harvesting it than you did eating it.
That's right. Thanks
Calories,
for watching.
Calories in, calories out.